Well, I actually hesitate to call myself a dancer sometimes because they'll be like, "Oh, Derek, you dance tango," and so that means I can dance anything, and that means I can dance with anyone. So if I'm at a party, people are like, "Oh, there's Derek, he's the tango dancer," and so like put him on stage, like, but like I need somebody else that also can dance tango.
Yep.
So like,
And then they're expecting you to do lifts. Hey, Derek, a bunch of us are going to go out this weekend. You got anything going on?
sorry, man, I'm gonna be at the casino playing some poker.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Poker?
Poker, man. LA. This is LA is the home of poker. There's like so many poker casinos, card rooms.
Dude, that's a secret life I never even knew about you.
Well, now you know. And that's what our topic is for this video, right? The secret lives of social dancers, and specifically tango dancers. It's a really interesting concept because lots of people know us for one thing, right? They either know you of your secret nightlife of tango dancing, or they know you as your regular job or hobby that they associate you with. And it's kind of interesting because lots of times you'll be dancing with people and you really have no idea what they do for their work, for their job, or other hobbies that they might have. And so we're going to talk about a little bit about that phenomenon in this video. But yeah, Rob, why don't you let them know what you do on the...
Well, for a day job, I'm an analyst, so I just count numbers. Not so exciting there, but on the side, I was a junior tennis player, and also I do a lot of sport fishing. So I really got into fishing, and it's been great. It's something I really enjoy. It's a passion of mine, and besides catching fish, it's ending up cooking for everybody.
When people talk about getting others into tango, how come we focus only on the dance, but we don't seem to focus on the other hobbies that people might also catch wind to?
Yeah. So basically you're saying like when we want to get people into tango, we don't look at the other hobbies that we might look at to draft other people in tango, right?
Exactly, right? So I work at a university, I'm a college professor, and strictly speaking, I kind of keep the tango dancing on a hush. For whatever reason, I don't know, maybe I don't want my colleagues in that same pool, and maybe you at home are thinking the same way, like, yeah, I'd rather not dance with the people that I work with, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I actually know some friends who are psychologists who dance tango, and then they get all hush hush when they find out that one of their clients that dance tango also. They're like, oh shoot, I don't want to see my client at the Malanga. So
dancing with your client, dancing with your boss, that's real awkward.
Well, no, it's not their boss.
No, I'm just saying in general, if you were to dance with your boss.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's definitely an HR issue right there. Okay, retaliation. You didn't accept my cabeceo.
Oh my God, docking your pay. You gotta work overtime, you gotta work some weekends.
I got this project for you.
Oh my God.
No, but it is interesting because there's a lot of things that people really don't know about us, and also there's people that I've danced with for many years, and I don't know a thing about them. Like I don't know if they've got a family. I don't know if they've what they do. I mean, it's really interesting to actually sit down and talk to people and really find out about them.
But I think people like the anonymity of it, right? Because we don't have that many spaces where you can keep your identity private anymore because everything is so wide open. And I think people like that space where they're just some rando.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a lot easier because especially if you need to cut ties or if you need to bugger on, move to something different, it's really easy to compartmentalize your friend group. Like I have, my friends from my anime circle.
Sure.
I have my friends from board game circles.
Sure.
I have my friends, my martial arts friends. It's really rare that there's a crossover. And I remember I tried once to have a crossover between my martial arts friends and my anime friends, thinking that, oh, we all watch kung fu movies, and it fell flat. It was terrible. Like,
really? Why? What's wrong with kung fu movies?
No, because what happened was I had a big barbecue. I thought everyone would mingle and kind of bond over similar interests.
Yeah.
But it ended up being a barbecue where it was the martial arts side and the anime side. It was like it was so awkward. Like no one wanted to cross the line, and it was and
The comfort zone's there.
yeah, and also like I wasn't as good of a host back then as I am now, so that was part of it because I was just so concentrated. Oh, everyone's just gonna eat food and mingle, and that doesn't happen. Like
And you had no plan B.
no, I don't know.
That
Like
was it.
that was
Plan foiled.
No, it was it was the Hail Mary, and it was bad. It was
No
really
backup
bad.
plan.
Well, I mean, I just thought food brings everybody together, and you definitely need a good host to manage the environment and manage the intermingling, and that's something that I recognize and I see as I got older, and through more parties and saw how people need to mingle more, and I've really, it's one thing I think we lose that in the Malanga also because we always talk about the cliques, but really also there's all these people who just need a little help just to mingle.
That's true. I'm also very hesitant, I think, to share with like, say at my workplace, like like my tango dancing, because I feel like when I do share it, people just don't get it. And it's very hard to explain tango to somebody else.
Yeah, and
Because
also,
what they know is like competition or Dancing with the Stars, and then I have to go a whole ordeal about explaining that I don't do that and that's something else,
like,
and then
what? There's no rose in your mouth?
yeah, exactly. So it's like almost ends up being like this long ordeal that I don't even want to partake in myself and trying to explain.
Have you ever just said, "Hey, I enjoy dancing"?
I do, but I think when you say you enjoy dancing, that's some other realm. Like they would think I'm going clubbing, they would think I'm going to like these raves or.
Okay, but let's say if you said you go, so do you feel that if you said you went salsa dancing, for example, like you enjoy salsa,
Right.
do you think they'd get that more than tango?
Definitely, I think definitely. Because
So-
I think people see salsa a lot more, at least here in LA for sure.
So do you think a lot of it is just like tango's marketing? Like we only see the few movies that we've seen. We see Dancing with the Stars, so we don't have like a general footprint in, I don't want to say social media, but a general footprint in everyday common talk or whatever.
Yeah, we don't, because like a lot of the first things people say is like, well, do you have a partner? And because they think that you're just dancing in one room with one person and that's it. They don't realize that there's a whole room of people and you're rotating and switching partners and dancing and improvising with other people.
Yeah.
That's just totally a foreign concept.
It is, especially when I mean, a lot of my friends now are more conservative.
Yeah.
So this idea of you're dancing intimately and then you're changing partners. It's to them it's almost like it's very taboo almost. It's because it's worse than. Sometimes I don't want to say it because it seems like speed dating, and and if you're like a habitual speed dater, like what does that say about you? I remember. No,
You're the forever single person?
no.
Always on the speed dating? Is that
There,
what you're saying?
yeah, there's that. Well, I mean, for example, when I was in my 20s, I still loved dancing, and I would go clubbing a lot. But I would go clubbing because I liked dancing, and my friends would invite me to go with them because they knew I was going to hit on them, and they like to have a guy around so that like I was kind of like the barrier between all the other
Buffer,
guys.
you're like a
Yeah,
bodyguard.
Yeah, pretty much. and then it got back to my mom. She's like, "Oh, I hear that you're going out with girls every other weekend," and I'm like, me? Like I'm like the dorky guy. Like, what are you talking about? So it's like I see how partner dancing and changing of dancing gets very taboo because the idea of intimacy and sensuality and closeness, and then also changing partners is very foreign to people. So they have these weird, they go down this weird imaginary fantasy of what you're doing. Like I'm like Don Juan, like romancing.
John Travolta.
Yeah,
right?
like I'm just. Well, but see, John Travolta in like Saturday Night Fever, he still had one girl he liked,
Yeah.
It wasn't like Mr. Don Juan like romancing girls every weekend, and that's what they might think of because when you say, oh yeah, you change partners, and they're like what? You're so close and intimate. So It's really, I get it. It's really hard to explain these things to people because it's almost like, why don't you come out with me one night and just see it, you know?
Yeah, but then that's also so boring for anyone to come and watch tango. It's because you have to feel it. Like it's you can't just sit there all night and just watch it. You just don't get the same thing. It's like,
Okay.
and it's not that like tango, watching tango, especially social tango, is not that interesting most of the time because it's not flashy usually. It's very internal. And so that's not the kind of dancing that people like equate to. Like I actually hesitate to call myself a dancer sometimes because they'll be like, "Oh, Derek, you dance tango," and so that means I can dance anything, and that means I can dance with anyone. So if I'm at a party, people are like, "Oh, there's Derek, he's the tango dancer." And so like put him on stage, like, but like I need somebody else that also can dance tango.
Yep.
So like,
And then they're expecting you to do lifts. Like, they do that at Dancing with the Stars. Can you do this? And, like, no.
yeah. I actually get pretty bummed out actually when I think about that.
What?
Because like, yeah, all the things that people expect you to do, it's like, yeah, but I don't do that. I can't do that. I don't do the.
Yeah, but I totally get it because I remember one time, so going to the martial arts, like I have a friends, this is before I did jiu-jitsu, and UFC just started coming in and everyone was a big Gracie fan. Gracie was all over the place.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine was a blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh man, he's all bad. Because we didn't know blue belt was just the next level after white. We're just like, you're a blue belt? Wow, that sounds amazing.
So close to black.
I know. So, I remember, like, we put him on the spot, and we're like, because one of our other friends was a state champion wrestler,
Okay.
which if you ever did jiu-jitsu and the state champion wrestler comes in, he wipes the floor with a lot of people up to the brown belts.
Wow.
Because if you're a state champion wrestler, you just have the physique, you already have all these other moves,
Yeah.
everyone else is learning. I remember we put him on the spot and he got tooled really bad. And it was like, we put him on the spot, we're like, oh man, he's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's like a master. He's a blue belt master. And like the state champ just went up and just totally destroyed him in front of everybody. And we're like, oh dude, we're so sorry,
That's embarrassing.
But I mean, that's the same thing though. We had this expectation that like jiu-jitsu was like the ultimate art because Hoist Gracie went out there and showed that he could do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And we didn't know, and it's the same thing too. It's like people don't know what tango is, or they have this crazy fantasy of what tango is, and then they place their idea on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you compartmentalize? Like, do you like? I get it. Like you keep your tango life separate from your
Work life.
Your work life, but do you almost compartmentalize like? You have a different name almost, like like let's say you're walking down the street.
My tango name?
No, like let's say you walk down the street, right? And like let's say or you get out of you're getting out of the Malanga and you just see your buddy from work. You're like, I mean, do you do that?
No. I guess it's rare though. I don't know if I would in that situation or what I would do. That's interesting.
Okay.
Because like, would I be embarrassed that I do tango dancing? No. I don't think I wouldn't. It wouldn't be something that I would have to hide from someone else. Mm-hmm. In fact, a lot of my colleagues are always pretty interested when I say it. Mm-hmm. It's always one of those like, oh man, you gotta show me one day, and then they never do.
Yeah.
It's always one of those, I gotta go to you gotta teach me, and then they never come.
Yeah.
So that's always disappointing.
Yeah. The funny thing is, going back to it's boring to watch social tango, like for an outsider to watch social tango.
Yeah.
Actually, I disagree with that.
It's absolutely boring.
No. I disagree with that because I think I brought lady friends to go watch it.
And they last like an hour.
No,
max.
No, they were there. They actually want to try it and everything too. Like
after an hour, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna go home." Now.
No. Well, it depends. It's like if it's there, if it's just there and that's all they're doing, like yeah. But if you go to like one of those Malangas where there's a bar and they're gonna have a drink too and just relax, have wine, different story.
That's true. Okay.
And I was able to introduce a lot of friends to tango that way. But I do see that girls were more susceptible to that than guys. I think guys were just kind of like,
Why do you think that is? Because actually, when I first tried tango, I was very interested in like, oh wow, that's something that I think I could get better at. But then again, it was a class. I didn't like watch it first. I actually tried it first. So maybe therein lies the big difference.
Maybe, well, I think with my friends, I think a lot of my guy friends just are not musically inclined, so they just they don't know where the beat is. I mean, I didn't know where the beat is for a long time.
That's everybody though. It's hard. Like you don't even hear the music when you first start dancing. Everything else is like going at 1,000 miles per hour.
Yeah, but I think a lot of my guy friends, me and one or two will go, oh, that's cool, and they just kind of, that's about it.
Yeah.
But I think the girls, when they really see it, they get into it because
Maybe the fashion, the shoes.
I don't know what it is, but a lot of them, even if they don't join, they're like, wow, that was so beautiful, that was so great, you know. And maybe they're blowing smoke up my butt. I have no idea. You know, I'm really susceptible to the compliments, and I'm like, sure, great, you know. But I don't know. I feel that it's easier for me to introduce my tango life to a girl than it is to a guy.
And maybe therein lies why we have so many women that do dabble into tango than men, right?
Yeah, probably. Do you ever like share your what you do to other tango people? Like you're a teacher. I mean, like a university teacher, not like a tango teacher, or like.
I think a good amount of people know that about me, but I would say that I feel like there's still a lot of people that don't know.
So,
and I don't think they want to know. I think, like I said, they like to live in this alternate reality where they are a different person, where they are appreciated in a different way, where they don't have to, where people don't know them as something, they just know them as dancer. And I think there is a freedom in that, especially depending on the occupation you have.
Yeah.
Where you have maybe a lot of responsibilities, and now tango gives you a chance to just shed all those and you're something else. That's very liberating.
It is. Like I know, like one of my ex, like she really appreciated that because, you know, she had a lot of responsibilities at work, and it was like, oh, I get to go to dance tango and like be a lady and not like be this, you know, this manager of some sort, you know, where I need to like, you know, pull up my management pants and like be all bossy and everything. Like I could just go here and you know, and they get to enjoy the femininity where they don't get to do that at work.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. It doesn't really mix that much at sometimes, and so why try to?
I don't know. Well, I mean, sometimes I find it interesting, but I don't get a lot of opportunities to actually discover these things about people because I think it only happens when I had the opportunity to, let's say, have lunch with them and I find out more about them or whatever. I kind of feel that with tango, we're just pretty much in class, in the milonga, and there's no like transition time unless we're at a marathon or a festival.
Well, there's not a lot of time at the milonga I mean, I guess you could just sit a tanda out and kind of talk it out.
Yeah,
but if you want to dance, it's kind of like people are, you know, waiting for the next cabaseo and ready to leave your conversation at any moment's notice.
Yeah, so it ends up being small talk.
Oh, sorry, I got cabaseo.
I know.
Just like
it definitely just ends up being small talk. But I think where I was going with is that not even that, like with the milongas, like, you know, you get there at 8, you get there at 9. If you're early, that's an early bird thing, and then you're done at 1. And do you really want to? I mean, do you really want to go and have a late night taco? Not too many people do. They just want to go home and sleep sometimes, especially after COVID.
Yeah.
And one of the things I do like is the afternoon milongas because that kind of gives you that dinner period to actually hang out with people because it's normal. Like you finish at 5 or 6, like hey, let's go out and have. You want to go out for ramen or whatever, you know.
Well, that's why marathons are so popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's an opportune time to actually find out about people, and I enjoy finding out about people.
But the challenge is to do it in a local setting without the marathon setting.
Yeah, and that is definitely difficult because the sad part is I think a lot of times we end up friending people on Facebook or social media, and we interact with them there, and then we have this preconceived notion based on their social media posts because sometimes I feel that even for myself, I feel like I'm very misunderstood on Facebook because I might be very opinionated or you don't get to hear your tone when you write a post or when you respond to a comment.
Right.
That I think people would receive me differently if we had a one-on-one conversation over lunch.
Sure.
And I think, I guess for me, it's because I'm very extroverted, so I love just finding out about people. I don't mind people finding out about me. I do compartmentalize from work because I don't want it to be an HR issue or whatever. But no, because people just I don't know. Work is just, I don't want to say it's a sacred place, but it's almost like, I always view work to be a place where you can't have fun. You know what I mean? I find fun in my work and what I do.
Right.
But it's not like you're parading around, it's like, hey guys, let's go bowling, you know? Or, hey, happy hour. I'm not that person. I don't really like to hang out with my coworkers. I might hang out with one or two coworkers, but I really don't like hanging out with my coworkers. I want, in a sense, I feel like I have a tango life, and really my secret life is my work, because I feel like that relationship at work is more arm's length, because at any moment I might want to quit and find another job, and I don't want to be attached, because when you get attached, it's hard to leave work.
Yeah.
And especially if it's a better opportunity. I mean, it's hard to go to a guy like, hey man, you've been a great teammate, but a 20% bump is a 20% bump.
I gotta go over there.
And it just sounds weird. I mean, everyone knows it. I feel that my tango life is more my normal life, and my work life is like more my secret life.
Have you ever thought about other people having the same thing but flipped?
Like, what do you mean?
That their tango life, they don't want to get too close, and they just want to have people that they associate and dance with and leave it like that.
Yeah. No,
and their work life is actually the opposite thing. They do the lunch things with their coworkers and colleagues, and their tango life is like the.
Yeah, well, actually, my ex was like that, except she just wanted all her lives to be private. One of the reasons why she loved tango was you didn't have to chat with anybody. You cabeceaed, you get your dance on, you get off, and that's it. It wasn't like, what did Susie do last week, or who's dating who, or like she didn't want
no
to.
time for that.
Yeah. So that's what she loved about tango. That you get in there, you get your dance on, you get out. And I think that's how she also approached work too. Like, she got in there, got her work done, got out, and her private life was her private life.
What I find so interesting though is I feel like there are so many unique and interesting people in tango. Like, you find out like, oh my God, they're a professional, whatever, and you're like, wow.
Yeah,
I would have never guessed that.
No, there's people I've taken classes with. I'm like, dude, you're a brain surgeon. I mean, like, you'd be amazed. What some of these people do. And I think it's also interesting because I feel like there's such a huge intellectual capital in tango. Like, I really don't. I mean, I do see some like blue collar workers in tango. Yeah. But like most of it,
it's always very advanced degrees, very long. Yeah.
And I mean,
professional careers.
I think tango is one of the places where like I go to, and I feel stupid around people. I mean, granted, like I'm not like
this person designs robots.
I know. I'm like, hey, I'm a college grad. Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel. I mean, it's not like they intentionally make me like. It's not like they go out there and intentionally like shove it in my face. But it's almost like, wow, these people have such interesting lives. Yeah. Like, one guy was created a device where you could play music through body movement. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And then another guy was like working on he's like practically a rocket scientist, I'm like, wow, like it's just so interesting. I mean, we all have like just such interesting lives, and it's for me, it's a pity that people don't share them, because I'd be more interested in just finding out more about people. But also at the same time, I think it's another thing we need to look at is that sometimes, like, we shrug people off because they don't fit a vibe, or we judge them too quickly. Yeah. But it's almost like because we judge them too quickly, we don't get to find out what the bigger thing about them. Maybe because we're so tango focused, it's like, oh, I only want to hang out with serious tango dancers, and everyone's got that right, because like if they're a serious tango person, they connect with people who are take it more seriously. But also at the same time, people who take it as a recreation, at a recreational level, I mean, they're just interesting people too. And I've made some amazing friendships through people who are very recreational and
But they're amazing in other
yeah,
endeavors.
and it's just one of those things where like you just never know who you're gonna meet, and you just never know the story behind them. So
Yeah. Let us know what what your story is with other secret identities or people that you've met, and whether or not you live like a secret life for yourself. We'd be curious to know in the comments. But yeah, we were just kind of pondering this thought of the secret lives of social dancers and what kind of keeps us that way, and how do we want to even share our other alternative lives with other people. It's kind of an interesting thought. But yeah, let us know, and thank y'all so much for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.
thank you for watching the latest episode of Left Foot, Right Foot. Please click the subscribe button and the notification bell to keep up to date with our latest videos. We greatly appreciate it.
Also, if you can, click the like button. It really helps us with the algorithm. Where our goal is really to make tango, social tango in the community more available to the mass public. And that's pretty much our goal with the whole channel. So if you could click that like button, it really goes a long way. Thank y'all so much.